Namaste everyone. Today we will look at relationships, especially marital relationships of the past and the present, and maybe also the future. Why are relationships, marriages breaking so often today? The divorce rates are quite high. Somehow in the past, people managed to have a sustained and long-lasting relationship. Families were built, and these families have given us the best of the people, with the best of the talent and potential. How are they able to keep up with so much of pressure, stress, everyday nitty-gritties, and still give us something that we can really speak about today? But the question arises whether they were really happy in those days, and whether we are happy now. So the answer will stem from correctly defining what happiness really is. Happiness in Sanskritam has been given a term called as Sukha. Sukham is defined as an unagitated state of mind, which means the mind remains at rest. It does not mean that you will not have emotions or unable to express emotions or anything of that sort, but it really means whatever the situation, the mind is in a state of peace, balance, and harmony. So that really is Sukha. And Sukha does not really ensure that you have all your material objectives fulfilled. Sukha does not mean that you will have all your desires fulfilled. Sukha does not mean that you will have the best of the partner who is perfect in all ways in terms of compatibility and is able to give you everything which you ask for. But Sukha really means, really means that internally you are happy doing what you do every day. And the same applies to relationships. So what is the difference? What is the secret behind such long-lasting and sustained relationships? Now, during my research on the truth behind how people lived before and how people are living now has allowed me to sort of come up with a lot of revelations, which I'm going to share with you right away. The first and foremost thing is the basis on which societies were formed before and now. The basic edifice or the platform on which societies were built before was an individual's offering or capability to give the society. Whereas today, it is all about what I receive from the society. Whenever we speak of a relationship, we say, what is the partner going to offer me? What is my partner possessing in terms of wealth? Will he or she be able to make sure that I have a comfortable lifestyle? Will he or she make sure that my objectives or my aims and goals and ambitions are not hampered? So these are the concerns that we really have today, and we feel that involving somebody or bringing somebody into our life means there is a speed breaker on what we want to really achieve, and that is why we keep on searching for the right or the perfect partner, which hardly ever happens. And that is also so after marriage, when our expectations and when our roles differ, when we really are put down to the task of performance, when we go through the nitty-gritties and the pressures of everyday life, somewhere because the true objective or purpose behind this relationship is skewed, we sort of go off balance and we think that separating is a better option than staying together. Earlier, uh, as I said, societies were built or people were mentally groomed in such a manner that they valued themselves and what they had to offer to the other, significant other. For example, in a typical family where there is a husband and a wife, there are old parents to cater to whose needs are to be catered towards, and there are children. So, this is a typical family setup, right? So, here the husband and the wife knew very well that they had a very important role to work as a team and make their service or offer the service to everybody around. Now, this is what is termed as dharma patni or dharmapati. They don't really say it's dharmapati, but pati is always for dharma. And marriage was a union considered to be highly sacred for the upkeep of dharma. And you must be already knowing, if you have watched my earlier video, dharma is that platform which brings or binds everything together in harmony. Therefore, there is no question of exertion, or there is no question of stressing out, or there is no question of who will do what. Everybody together has to ensure the purpose is the same. They have to ensure that all the small units which comprise something called as a family are kept together, are kept in a state where they are nurtured, they are groomed and able to perform their respective duties in a fashion where everybody else is benefited through their functions. So this was the basic idea, and this is why marriages lasted long. So the question never arises as to what am I gaining from here, or what is she going to bring, what is he going to give me. But the mental thought was that we together have to do this. We together have to make sure that the children are brought up in a way that they are of use to the society in the future, and we together have to make sure that the ones who are older, the parents, are having a good old age, comfortable old age. So here the question is not whether there is plenty of wealth around, whether there is a lot of sort of supplies with whatever you have. There was nothing called as rich or poor. With whatever income you get, what you do used to be highly important. Whether you do this, whether you are taking care of others or not, used to be a larger question than how much do you have. That used to be, I think, a more intelligent way to live, because there is no stress. There never used to be something called as stress. Everybody used to have a lot of time to chit chat, to jabber, to get together, to gather around and sort of tease each other and have a happy lifestyle. They did not have much, but they had a lot of sukha, which means inner happiness, which they never have to any time question anybody, and they never had to approach any psychiatrist or psychologist or anybody, any counselor, to be happy. They just knew how to be happy. So can we not try the same now? We speak about times having changed, but what has really changed is our own mindset or our own perception. We are now too driven by our own desires, my desire, my ambition, my goal, that we are unable to see the greater picture. Now, you must be thinking that it is quite easy to speak like this, but I have myself brought in a lot of changes in my own lifestyle, and it makes me feel much more happy and comfortable today than what I did previously. Yes, I used to work. Uh, I was part of a company in the industry, in the life science industry. But I know that I had certain decisions to take and answer my call as to what I really wanted to do and the way I wanted to live. And believe me, this particular lifestyle that which I have chosen today, which I would proudly say, which is the Vedic way of living, is quite intelligent and stress free. Therefore, it makes me sort of make a high propaganda of how easy, simple, efficient, and intelligent our ancient civilization was. No, I am not speaking about the last 700 to 800 years, wherein we speak about a lot of invasions in India, the change of rulership from the Mughals to other people, and the way the Indian society has seen a fall or a degradation in culture, in value, and in integrity. No, I'm not speaking about this India. What I would like to here highlight is the India which existed, the society in India which existed before this, before 700 years, before 800 years. Have you ever tried to research on how the ancient civilization of Bharat used to be like? Why Sanskritam was the universal language? Did you ever know that Sanskritam was the international language? International language. It is only later that the other languages came up from Sanskritam. They all branched out of Sanskritam. And do you know how English came out? Just by reversing or re-rhyming certain words from Sanskritam. So, although the alphabets remain the same, we say a. When we say a, we say a. A has become a. So nothing has really changed. It is just that somebody's mind got a little skewed and they wanted to show that they are capable of bringing up something new, and they brainwashed the entire civilization and asked them to sort of believe in something which is untrue and non-factual and had no basis. That is how the entire civilization built up on false ideas and ideologies has been propagating until now and is still going further that way. But it will not be far from now that everybody will turn back to Sanatana Dharma, the Vedic way of living, not because it is something which is imparted, or not because it will be thrusted upon them, but out of their own choice, because they know that it's quite intelligent and simple to adopt, and that is the natural way of living, of life. That is the natural way of building relationships. When we build a relationship in the Vedic period, we say namaskara or namaste, which literally goes to say that I appreciate the fact or the absolute truth that that particular spirit or the soul which is there in me is there in you. Therefore, you are no different than me. You are the same as me. I am the same as you. Do you imagine the power of this truth? Think about it and do share your thoughts in the comments below. Namaskaram.